We are going to get through this as a team. And at the same time, we are absolutely going to hold Norfolk Southern accountable. And I can promise you that. The question.
Well, it has now been 2 weeks since the train derailment in East Palestine. And just hours ago, the EPA, along with Senators Sherrod Brown and J.D. Vance, wrapped up their visit to hear concerns from people who live in that area. And the people who we have been talking to continue to voice their concerns for their safety when it comes to air quality and especially their water.
Yeah, that has been the major concern. And this morning, health officials reiterate that current testing shows there are no health risks. However, so many unanswered questions and unknowns. There is understandably a lot of distrust between the people impacted and officials.
They're telling us it's safe. The levels are all coming back perfect. Everything's just great. Why are we getting sick? Why do we have this overwhelming chemical smell in our homes? You know, it's not a good enough answer. And I don't feel like we're giving the transparency.
The CEO of Norfolk Southern has issued a statement promising to stay in East Palestine for as long as it takes to help the village recover and thrive. In the meantime, another lawsuit was just filed yesterday. It claims the amount of toxic chemicals released was more than twice the total amount of vinyl chloride released by all U.S. industries each year.
And as the investigation and cleanup continues, there are some mixed messages out there over the assistance that's available and FEMA's role in all of this. We verify those claims for you this morning.
Will the Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, give assistance to Ohioans after the East Palestine train derailment? We've noticed multiple reports across social media, so let's verify. Here are the sources that we use to confirm: Ohio Governor Mike DeWine, FEMA's Budget in Brief Handbook, and U.S. Senator J.D. Vance. Let's start with the governor. DeWine tweeted that his administration has been in touch with FEMA to talk about the possibility of the state receiving federal support, stating in part, quote, "But FEMA continues to advise that Ohio is not eligible for assistance at this time." Now, we did a deep dive into FEMA's website, and here's what we found. In FEMA's 2023 policy for disaster response, it says, quote, "Through the Disaster Relief Fund, FEMA provides individual and public assistance to state and local governments in order to help families and communities affected by declared disasters to rebuild and recover." FEMA also administers hazard mitigation programs that reduce the risk to life and property from floods and other hazards. FEMA stands ready to provide rapid assistance and resources in emergency situations whenever state and local capabilities are overwhelmed or seriously threatened. Ohio Senator J.D. Vance visited East Palestine. He says the mix-up with calling in the feds for assistance stems from controversy with officials on who or where to shift the blame of the train's derailment.
There's some tension between declaring a federal disaster and having FEMA come in, and then shifting the liability of this accident to the federal government, as opposed to the train company that actually caused the problem.
So, will Ohioans receive assistance from FEMA for the East Palestine train derailment? For now, at least, we can verify no.
Well, Governor DeWine has also asked for help from the Department of Health and Human Services and the CDC. NBC News is reporting that the White House is sending teams from both agencies to take a look at health concerns there.
In the meantime, more issues for Norfolk Southern this morning. Take a look. Another one of their trains derailed yesterday. This is near Detroit. Nobody was hurt and no hazardous materials have been detected. However, Van Buren Township officials say one train car did contain liquid chlorine, but that specific train car was not near the overturned cars and it was removed from the tracks.